Well, I mean, that brings me to my next question. So, like, how is the New Zealand DJ scene different from, like, say, like an American or a Australian scene where it's kind of crazy? Even the European scene where it's like a lot of EDM and all that stuff. Like, how's the scene and stuff there versus other areas?
Yeah, music wise, New Zealand really loves like old school music. Like you can go into clubs in Auckland and they'll still be playing like 2000s and 90s jams like at prime time, where other cities, that stuff you play earlier in the night.
Hmm.
And but over here, like there's even some like new like bangers that will be like your go-to songs, but they don't work here. Like New Zealand really loves the old school music, and you can still play it in lots of clubs, which I love. When I go to Australia, though, I'll do like way more modern type sets.
Yeah, because I noticed that when you do your mixes and stuff on YouTube, you're really heavy into like 90s and early 2000s and stuff like that, which is the era that I absolutely love. I love to mix in those eras and stuff like that. But you create so many like classic mixes in that particular decade and time frame, and I'm assuming that's just because it's heavily influenced and stuff where you're at.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's also the music I love the most as well. Like 90s R&B is one of my favorite time frames of music.
Cool.
And if few new songs come out, I'll try again an acapella and flip it to make it sound like a song from the 90s or something. But yeah, it was crazy to hear that, like, in America, like there might be songs that are considered old like 2 months after their release. But in New
Right.
Zealand, like songs have massive lifespans over here. I mean, we still play from like 20, 30 years ago.
Oh my gosh, yeah. The attention span over here is next to nothing. A song comes out, it's got 2 months, and if it's aggravating, if too many people singing it or they overplay it, they really overplay it. That's the crazy part about it. Yeah, it's old. It's considered old. I mean, even like kids and stuff over here, it's when we do like proms and things like that, like you have to be careful what you're playing because you can't go too old, but then stuff that's 3 months old is considered like old. Like we don't want to hear that. That's too old. Like what? It just came out. Like it
It's
ain't even had time to breathe yet. It's
crazy,
nuts.
man. And another thing about the New Zealand kind of DJ scene, not the music, just the DJs here, is
Hmm.
you wouldn't think it, but we have like a really like big line in history of like really good like battle DJs. Like we have K Swizz at the moment, who's the world champion,
Okay.
and he's New Zealand. And we've had P Money, Manchu, and lots of other really really talented DMC style DJs. So for a small country, we produce like an amazing amount of like really technical DMC DJs that you wouldn't expect from a small country.
Right. That's actually awesome. I didn't know that. Learn something every day. That's dope. That's dope. With that kind of influence and stuff down there, who would you say that your influences and your inspiration were like to hone in your craft? Like who do you kind of look up to or just kind of pull the most from? Like who is that? Who are those people?
I guess when I first started, like, I actually come from like, as a kid, like, I predominantly listened to like rock and metal music.
Okay.
So when I got into DJing, I was like, I don't hear anyone playing this for a good reason. But then I came across Z Trip, and Z Trip was like mixing all these cool hip hop tracks with rock music, and
Yep.
that's when I was like, man, that's what I want to do. And then I came across DJ AM. I was like, oh, you can do this stuff in like clubs and that. So
Right.
Steve and AM were like the two guys that really set me on this journey. And then later on, would have found Jazzy Jeff, who's one of my favorite DJs now. Oh, yeah, those three are the main ones that inspired me to start.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. The Z Trip. I saw Z Trip, and I've seen Jeff live. I didn't get a chance to see AM and stuff, for his passing and stuff like that. But I imagine that those guys are like the Mount Rushmores to everybody because when I asked that question to multiple DJs, they're almost the same names each time. Maybe one or
Yeah.
two different, but for the most part, like those are like the guys. If you want to model yourself or hone in your skills and stuff like that. Like it's basically from those particular guys, which I mean they're great. They're awesome. I mean I love Jazzy Jeff. That's my go to. That's my number one. And then Z Trip, you know, he's on Sirius satellite radio and stuff here, and he has a whole segment and stuff that he just absolutely kills it. DJ Scratch is another one that I absolutely love. I'm in awe of these guys when I see them mix. But then, you know, as I was sitting there looking for them, you know, unknown to me, another person showed up on my YouTube, you know, deep dive, and that was you. And it was crazy because, like, I was like, okay, like, let's see what this is about. Because I think one of the first ones that came up was like, I think it was like 2000s or the 90s R&B mix, and I was like, okay, let's check it out. And I listened to it. I was like, oh man, this man's cold. So I was like, let's listen to the next one and the next one. And before I knew it, I had listened to almost all of the mixes all the way down. Like I just let them play. And then you like did this one thing where you were in like a bar. I think it was a bar, and it was like a live stream. And you had the phone or something set up on the side.
Yep.
And I was sitting there, I was like, yep, this is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. I could just listen while I'm doing what I'm doing. It was great, man.
See,